Hello and welcome to Life of a Murloc Bartender tutorial. Today we'll be going over a few basic features in setting up Bartender for your key bindings and a few other things. So to get started, as you can see, I already have Bartender enabled and I've created a new character because I don't feel like resetting Bartender on any of my other characters. So, to get us started, you can see that Bartender starts out similar to the Blizzard UI, but there are a few things off, like the bags and different stuff like this. It's okay, I prefer not to use the Blizzard UI, or the Blizzard UI copy, but that's just me. So, let's get straight to it, and there are two ways you can open up Bartender. Two common ways. You can either type /BT4 and press enter and it brings up the config panel, or you can go up here and you can right click to toggle the options menu. Okay, now to get rid of all the Blizzard artwork and everything else down here, you want to go down to presets, and then it's going to show you a couple different presets. What I usually do is I do a full reset, which resets everything in the middle of my screen. So there's no fancy artwork, there's none of that, it's just basic. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this out, and we'll get to how to resizing the bars here in just a little bit, but how you move the bars around is you just go up here and you left click on this little keg up here by the minimap. And I'm just going to adjust my stuff how I usually do it. And you can adjust yours however you like, as long as you're able to follow along the tutorial just fine. Now, depending on how many bars you want to use, this is very important because I suffered along with this being an idiot for the longest time. Bartender and any bar add-on, action bar add-on, has this problem. As you can see, bar 4, 5, and 6 are still in the middle of my screen. Now, if I'm not using those bars at all, you need to disable them or move them somewhere else. We're just going to disable them. So we're going to go back to the options menu, right click on the keg, and we're going to click bar 4, bar 5, and bar 6, and click off enable. Okay, now that we have everything set up down here, we're just going to go through of how to keybind stuff on here. I'm not going to go through all the other key bindings that are commonly used. I'll put those in the description if you want to check those out. It's just keybinds that are commonly used amongst players that usually fit your hand better. So you just right click the keg or type in /BT4, whichever one you want to do, and you just click key bindings here, and you hover over a spell or a certain slot that you want to do. And as you can see, I already have pretty much all mine set, but let's say instead of 1 I wanted to do shift 1, and then now it's shift 1 and 1. If you want to clear all the key bindings out of it, you press escape on your keyboard, and then you can redo any key binding. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, keep in mind that you can check all commonly used key bindings in the description. And we're going to go ahead and set this back to 1. So, character specific key bindings just means that if you have different characters for all your key bindings, like you have a specific set of key bindings for this character and a specific set of key bindings for that character, and they're in different spots on the bars, you want to click character specific key bindings. Otherwise, it will try to generalize all your key bindings for all of your characters. So, now we're going to move on to the next thing, which is resizing the bars. These bars are a little bit too big for me right now, because I have a higher resolution. Depending on what resolution you have, you know, you may want the bars bigger, you may want the bars smaller, you may want professions off to the side where you can click on them and they're bigger than your skills. So go ahead and bring up the options menu, and we're just going to do bar 1 for an example. And we're going to go to scale. Now the scale is 1, it's set to 1 by default. And what I usually do is you can either adjust this and how big or small you want that. You see how it gets bigger and then smaller and bigger and smaller. And you can get them down pretty small, and I don't know why they do that. I've never seen someone with a skill that's small, but I guess whatever floats your boat. You can either type it in here, or you can use a little scale, so whichever. I'll use the scale for this one. And then I usually put them at about 0.8, but I'm also running off of a 16 by 1050 wide resolution, so whatever you want to do, whatever suits you. And then left click your keg, and then you're going to want to move the bars so they're not sort of scattered, because when you resize them, they obviously move and they change positions and different stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and set all my bars to 0.8. Okay. We've set all 3 of my standard bars to 0.8. This is your pet bar, obviously, and the vehicle bar is just like up and down, do just the range of like a cannon, and then it also has the get out of vehicle. So, and this is a very common issue for some reason amongst players, is they disable the vehicle bar not knowing what it is, and then they can't get out of vehicles. So don't be bad and enable the vehicle bar. And then we're going to go over just a couple more things, since this is just a basic tutorial. I'm going to make another one that'll go a little bit more in depth, you know, visibility, state configuration. State configuration is big, especially for druids, and a lot of PvPers prefer state configuration, such as warriors and different stuff like that between switching stances. So we're gonna go over the button looks right now, and hiding macro text obviously just hides the macros, and then it hides little text. See how this is O, this is skull, it just hides the text. Sorry for that fuck up. Okay, and then hiding the hotkey just hides the 1, the 2, the 3. I preferably don't like this option. I don't think they should even really have it in there, but you know, some people enjoy it. A click through. Now, this is obviously if you have all your stuff bound, okay? Or the certain bar bound and you got it down, and you don't want to accidentally click on a skill of any sort, then it'll make all your skills click through. So the only way you can enable them is by pressing the hotkey. Okay. And hide the inner border, indicating the equip status on the buttons of this bar. This just pretty much means if I were to put this here, okay, that's the weapon I have equipped right now, it turns slightly green if you have this disabled. Green means it's equipped, so it's customizable. I mean, people have obviously gone through hoops to try to get this as customizable as possible. And one of the other basic features that I recommend you do is button lock, which means you can't accidentally move the buttons around if you have button lock on. So we're just going to go over a few more things here, and then this is going to be the end of the basic tutorial. Okay, alpha, obviously the fade of the bar. Now, in the next tutorial, we're going to go over a tab called visibility, which means it may fade out when you're not hovered over it, but when you hover over it, it will automatically go back to normal or whatever. Like for instance, your bag bar would be invisible unless you hover over it. But alpha is just the visibility of things, so you can make it more or less visible. So I'm just going to keep mine at 100 for now. And padding is just the space in between skills. So if you prefer more or less, you can even have them overlap if that's what you want. And then rows is just the rows for the bar. So that's all we're going to go over for in this tutorial. So I hope it helped you. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'm more than happy to answer them as far as that goes. If you just want to know something real quick that I didn't discuss in this tutorial and don't want to go to the next tutorial, I can answer those questions on here. But if you just want to get more in depth and more familiar with Bartender, then I suggest you just go to the next tutorial. There will be a link popping up. And that's the end of it. So here's all the basics. Have fun, and see you around.